We are honored to have each one of you here, both physically and virtually, as we embark on this momentous journey towards catalyzing climate action and achieving United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. What an honor to host the Pop Fest 2024, which is happening for the first time in Asia. I am Drishya Pathak, Youth Mentor, Pop Movement. Today we gather not just as participants, but as change makers united by a common purpose to address the pressing challenges of our time. We are Human Fraternity for Youth-Led Climate Action. The Pop Movement, envisioned by the late Dr. R.K. Pachauri, was established in 2016 by him and his son, Dr. Ash Pachauri. Since then, the Pop family has tirelessly worked to bring together global leaders, experts, and youth leaders, and creating a powerful alliance for the climate action and creating a movement that inspires nothing but action. The Pop Festival is an annual celebration of the work we do throughout the year with the agenda of leaving no one behind. The festival is designed to create intergenerational and multi-sectoral opportunities, setting the stage for collaborative efforts that transcend boundaries. As you can see, we have so many people and international delegates who have joined this conference along with the Pop Youth mentors from different parts of the world. The Pop Festival is embracing a hybrid format, symbolizing our commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. While we have the pleasure of hosting leaders from 40+ countries and youth leaders from Delhi NCR region in India, we also welcome online participants joining us from every corner of the globe. This coming together would not have been possible without the support of our partners who are collaborating and our 11 organizing partners. Without further ado, let us officially commence the International Conference and the Pop Festival for Youth-Led Climate Action 2024. So when I say pop, you follow me and say movement. Am I clear? When I say pop, you have to say movement. And then there is another way to say it. I say movimiento and you say pop. So throughout the conference, we'll keep you engaged with this activity as well. Pop, pop, pop. Thank you so much. Joining me is my fellow colleague as well as our youth mentor, Urosh. I would like to now welcome our Director of Pop Movement, Dr. Saroj Pachauri, and Dr. Ash Pachauri, and other esteemed speakers for this panel, and my friend and colleague Urosh, the session co-moderator, who is also a researcher and analyst in peace studies and international relations. Urosh, over to you.
Dear friends and guests of the Protect Our Planet Festival and Movement, which is dedicated to human fraternity for youth-led climate action. There is no greater value than peace, and there are no greater tasks than building that peace and protecting our common planet. We are all members of the same humanity, and the Earth is the home of all of us. Therefore, we should take care of each other and of our mutual home. Our first session deals with human fraternity, security, love, compassion, and peace. It is our hope that the world of tomorrow will be one of peace and friendship, and that the path to the world of tomorrow starts today with our joint efforts to create it here together. I would like to first invite our youth members, Mr. Levi Nyerende from Zambia and Mrs. Mariam Ahmed from Egypt, to felicitate our dignitaries. So I would like to first now invite our first speaker, Mrs. Asmita Satyarthi, the Managing Trustee of Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion.
Go there and so that there is a picture. You go and give it to Dr. Suresh.
Now I would like, this moment, let's felicitate properly. Now we're exchanging the scarves to show our felicitation of Asmita Satyarthi, our dear friend and colleague. And now we will also felicitate our dear director, Dr. Saruj Pachauri. Please have a round of applause for Dr. Saruj. Now, I would like to invite Her Excellency Mama Shamsa Abubakar Fadhil, Kenya Peace Mediator and Community Mobilizer. Welcome, Mama Shamsa. Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Raghavan Seetharaman, former CEO of Doha Bank, Global Goodwill Ambassador of the Pop Movement. Now let's welcome Dr. Ruth Mitchell, pediatric and adult neurosurgeon from Sydney Children's Hospital and Nobel Prize winner of 1985. Now please help me welcome Janani Ramanathan, Secretary General of the World Academy of Art and Science. Now please let me help me with His Excellency Dr. Rosalia Arteaga Serrano, former President of Ecuador, President of Fundación Fidel Ecuador. Did I? I hope I didn't. Welcome to Her Excellency. And finally, I would like to give us a round of applause for Dr. Ash Pachauri, our very own director.
Movimiento. Thank you, Levi and Mariam. Now I would like to invite everyone to rise for the national anthem.
फिल्मी गाने से जुड़े रहने के लिए YouTube ऐप के बेल आइकन को प्रेस
गणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. Now I kindly ask our speakers to come forward for the lighting of the lamp. I would request our speakers to please join. But they will go back. हाँ ठीक है वो एंड में जाना है अभी हमारे पास 1 घंटा है जय जय is जय Thank you, Dr. Saroj and Dr. Ash, for joining us for the session. Now, Rose, let us get started. And to begin with, we have an exclusive message from His Excellency José Ramos-Horta, the President of East Timor and the recipient of Nobel Peace Prize in 1996. He continues to pursue peace and development in Timor-Leste. Can I have the video message, please?
Hello, dear friends. This is José Ramos-Horta, President of Timor-Leste, unable to join you on this great day, February 3rd and the 4th in Delhi, as you celebrate International Day of Human Fraternity. I am here right now taping this message, few words, while attending the 10th Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit. Only 2 days in Gujarat, in India. Very fruitful days, meeting with Prime Minister Modi and other global leaders who have attended this important gathering. Not been able to have the pleasure, the privilege of being with you in Delhi on this occasion. Through this platform, I'm sending you first my warmest greetings, success in this pop festival. We are going through extraordinary security and peace challenges around the world, not failing to mention next door to India, the tragic situation in Myanmar, where thousands and thousands of people have been victimized since the military coup orchestrated by the military regime, the Tatmadaw. Tens of thousands displaced, catastrophic humanitarian situation impacting particularly children, women, elderly, disrupting completely the economy of the country as a consequence of the irrational coup that the military orchestrated 2 years ago. But beyond Myanmar, we remain all concerned about the situation in Gaza, where Israeli forces, air force and ground troops have completely destroyed that enclave of Palestinian territory, with more than 2,000 victims, 80% of which children and women. And elsewhere in Syria, in Yemen, in Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, in South Sudan, in Congo, in Mali, there are security peace challenges that impacting on human beings. And of course, the ongoing war launched by Russia on Ukraine. Neither side, Russia or Ukraine, seem to be ready for dialogue, but there is no solution but dialogue for the war in Ukraine. Sooner or later, the two sides will be exhausted, and only when they are exhausted, they probably have the motivation to sit down, set aside their pride, their egos, and save their own respective countries and the people. These are the challenges that all of us, people of goodwill, people who want peace, and on this day of International Human Fraternity Day, what can we do? We can only pray that wisdom prevail among those who are engaged in violence, that drop violence and accept each of us as fellow human beings in this small planet that is increasingly under threat from our own action over at least the last 100 years. Throughout the world, we are feeling the impact of what human beings, the worst predators of our Mother Earth, are we ourselves, human beings, what we have done to destroy the planet in which we live, which we share. But responsibility primarily are with the major industrial countries, not me, Timor-Leste, or either small island states, other least developed countries, developing countries. The industrial powers, the ones that for the past 100 years have rapaciously extracted from Mother Earth, polluted the earth, and we are now harvesting the consequences. What can we do? We can only advocate, campaign peacefully and with prayers that members of the international community, each of us in our own country, we promote peace, human fraternity. That's what I always try to do in my own country, Timor-Leste. Timor-Leste, I would say, is an oasis of peace, of tranquility, of human fraternity. We do have zero political violence, zero ethnic or religious-based violence. We are ranked number 10 in the world by the international institution Reporters Without Borders, which monitor press freedom in the world. Timor-Leste is rated number 10 out of 190 countries. We are doing better than every single Asian country. We are doing better than many Western countries, namely Australia, New Zealand, Germany, France, the UK, United States, etc., etc. This is what we do. This is our responsibility, in that we do what we can in our own country, in our own island, and you can do in your own village, in your own community, to preserve peace, human fraternity, where you live, with your neighbors, with your school fellows, as we do, as I do at my level as President of Timor-Leste, in our own country, in the whole of the country, to preserve peace and human fraternity. So Dr. Pachauri and the Pachauri family that's so dedicated to the legacy of the late Dr. Pachauri. Congratulations and thank you for hosting this event, Pop Festival on human fraternity and human security. Thank you and God bless you all.
There was a very important message that was we need to set aside our egos if we want peace. So I think that was a go-to message for me. And also I'm amazed to know that his country is named as, ranked as 10th out of all the countries in terms of the freedom of the press. So that was a very important message. Now we have a message by Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, a human rights activist, Nobel Peace Prize winner, renowned for his crusade against child labor and advocacy for universal educational rights. I'm sure we all know him. He needs no introduction, but we have a very, very important message for him. So I would like to request the team to play the message.
My dear young friends, sisters and brothers, Namaste. First of all, I would like to congratulate and admire you for this very, very timely and important event. Protect our planet is not just a festival, it's a resolve we have to take back home. All of us know the problems, and therefore international community has pledged to ensure sustainability through Sustainable Development Goals. And there are 4 pillars of it. We have to ensure that how people are well protected, how planet is well protected, how prosperity grow and shared, and how peace is established and maintained. These are the 4 pillars of sustainability. But we have seen that so far much progress has not been made in accomplishing these SDGs. Therefore, such a movement is needed. Therefore, the leadership and anchoring of young people is needed. I strongly believe that no voice can be more compelling, genuine, moral, and stronger, louder voice than the voice of young people. Having said that, let me again reiterate that these 4 P's, people, planet, prosperity, and peace, are so interwoven that they cannot be protected in isolation. In my own experience, I have seen that wherever in the world we see the so-called natural disasters, in fact, they are man-made disasters. We are responsible for it. But whether it's a flood or earthquake or any other kind of thing, children have to pay the biggest price of it. They lose their education. Many of them are forced to leave that place. So the massive displacement has taken place in those areas, and it has resulted in slavery, bonded labor, child marriages, child prostitution, and so on. So people cannot be protected. The poorest of the poor people and children cannot be protected without we ensure the protection of planet. On the vice versa, the same thing. If hundreds of millions of children are not attending schools, how they can join our climate actions? How they can fight for climate justice? So we have to ensure all these things go hand in hand. These things are possible when we globalize compassion. We have globalized markets and economies. We have globalized data and information. Dear friends, this is the time to globalize compassion. When I say globalization of compassion, it does not mean that I am advocating for a religious issue or religious thing. In simple words, compassion is mindful, selfless problem solving of people and planet, both. Our relationship with communities and among ourselves has to be compassionate relations, where we feel the problems of others, sufferings of others as our own problems and suffering, and solve them. And so our relationship with earth and water and air, mountains, ocean has to be that relationship, because planet is suffering, Mother Earth is suffering, and we have to feel that suffering as our own, and then we have to embark upon in finding solutions to it. So dear friends, this is very much possible. I would suggest 3 more things. As I said, first one is globalizing compassion. The second one is, let us create supply chain of gratitude. We have to feel grateful to everything which is available in planet. We have to be grateful to those who have made any contribution in our life. May it be ordinary workers who are cleaning our streets, or the masons, the workers who have built our houses, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, food growers, farmers. Everyone has made some contribution in our life. So we have to feel that contribution by way of creating supply chains of gratitude. This is the second thing. And the third thing is, we have to find the unity in diversity. We have to find the solutions in diversities. Diversities and differences and dissents are not the problems. They are the drivers to move forward in every walk of life. And therefore, we have to embrace them and respect each other and create algorithm of diversities and build tolerance through that. That is the third thing. And the fourth important thing, you might have heard the Internet of Things in the modern information technology and modern technologies, computerization, Internet of Things. This is the time to build the Internet of responsibilities. Internet of responsibilities, where we feel that the world is not just interconnected, but interdependent also. So we have to be responsible to each other. I am so happy to talk to you, but I apologize that I am not able to physically present here. But I know that how dedicated is Ash. I know his father has dedicated his life for the protection of planet, and he is taking forward his legacy. So I love him and I respect him as my own son, and I congratulate him personally. I know Mama Shamsa is there. Mama Shamsa, thank you very much for coming to India, and all those friends who are there. Perhaps I cannot meet them. I'm not in Delhi today. But welcome to India, those who came from abroad. And my daughter Asmita, who is also the CEO of SMGC, is with you today, and she will be speaking. So once again, I congratulate and thank you for this great event.
I would like to share my own experience. So in the month of September, I think on 30th September and 2nd October, we had the privilege of joining the Satyarthi movement and meeting all the kids, and the way they celebrated those 3 days were amazing. I can still think of it and I feel like I had such a great time, and those kids were just amazing. I wish I could show you some videos from those days, but I'm sure Ms. Asmita will share more about the work that Satyarthi movement has been doing. But the message that we should take away from the last video that was played and the message shared by Mr. Kailash Satyarthi was that what is our relationship? What is the definition of compassion? How we behave with the planet, with the people around us. So with that, I would like to now invite Ms. Asmita, a passionate advocate for human rights, and she has dedicated her life for fighting child slavery. She is the managing trustee of Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion. Please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not hearing you.
Good morning, ma'am.
You can do better than that. Good morning. Such an absolute pleasure to be here today. Honored and proud to share the panel with our esteemed guests. I'm so proud of the work my brother Ash does with the pop movement. And I think the most pleasant surprise for me is this room full of young people. Because I truly believe that there's nothing more powerful than all of you present here today on this incredible day. So let's give all of us a big hand for taking such a strong stance for Mother Earth. So, compassion. Let's try and decode the word compassion. You know, my father mentioned the word compassion. So what we're saying is that compassion actually equals mindful and selfless problem solving. Okay, let's make this a two-way conversation. If at any step you guys have a question or a comment or whatever, please feel free to raise your hands. Can we do that? Can we do that? Okay. So compassion is selfless and mindful problem solving. Okay, now what do we mean by that? When something goes wrong in our lives, right? When something goes wrong with us, we take immediate action. Do we not? Supposing a mosquito comes and bites us. What do? We try to get rid of the mosquito, right? Or move away. When something happens to our loved ones, you know, some of us are, we have our parents, we have our siblings, we have our loved ones. When anything goes wrong with any of them, we take immediate action to solve the problem, right? When something happens to your mom, if she's upset about something, you come home from school or college, you would ask her what the problem is, right? And you love her, so you will actually do something because you believe it's your problem. Now, what are we doing to our planet? You know, our Mother Earth. The problem there is that none of us, whether it's our world leaders in Davos, whether it's our corporate leaders all around the world, whether it's all of us individuals in our daily lives, we don't know, we don't truly believe that it's our own problem. Right? It's something that is nice to talk about. It is something that's going to happen to, other people. It's not impacting us. Right? And that is, we believe that is the missing link. In order for us to take urgent action to solve the problem, the first thing that we do is to believe, the first thing that we have to do is to believe that it is our problem. And that is what we mean by compassion. Your problem is my problem. The planet's problem is my own personal problem. Does that make sense? Now, all of us know that the crazy impact that the human race has had on the planet, right? My colleague Astha is present here today. I was asking her to just dig up some numbers for me to really contextualize the issues. So we know that 3.5 billion people are living in areas susceptible to climate change. We know that the direct damage to health of climate change is something in the ballpark of $2 to $4 billion by the year 2030, right? But the interesting thing to note is that the countries that are most vulnerable to climate change, would you like to guess where they are? Can we, somebody raise your hands? You said something? Would you like to guess which continent these countries are which are most vulnerable to climate change? Please go ahead. You in the back. You can shout your name. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead. Your name? Okay, go ahead. Which countries? Okay, near the ocean. Right. Anybody else? Okay, guys. So the answer is that all of the top 10 countries who are most vulnerable to climate change are in Africa. And these are countries where people are living on something, something like $2 a day. That's the average income, right? Now, what caused the climate crisis? The climate crisis was caused by greenhouse emissions. We all understand that. But actually, data tells us very, very clearly that it was caused by greenhouse emissions from the from the richest countries of the world, and the impact is being felt by the poorest countries of the world. This is nothing but injustice, right? How fair is this? They go and mess up the environment, and the most vulnerable, the poorest people, have to bear the brunt of it. The women and the children have to bear the brunt of it. I found a data which really shocked me that says that the UK has emitted more carbon dioxide in the last century than all the 54 countries of Africa put together. All of them. Climate injustice and climate inequality, and also climate inequity. So what we are fighting is not climate change. We are actually fighting climate injustice as we stand here today. And it's very important for us to be honest with ourselves. It's very important for the leaders of the world, for the powers of the world, to not lie anymore. Do you agree? So what are we going to do? We're going to be honest with ourselves, right? And when it comes to problem solving, that's exactly what we're talking about. Being mindful, which means that being aware, being honest, and also being able to detach, also have a healthy distance with the problem. Because this is the difference between empathy and compassion. When you feel empathetic towards somebody, right, you feel like, oh my God, something wrong is going on. Sometimes you can worry about it, you can feel overwhelmed about what's happening. But when you take action, when you take meaningful action to solve that problem, you get so much energy, you get so much power, right? And you connect in a manner, like I said earlier, like it is your own problem. Which is what we need to do. We need to come together. We need to mindfully solve the problem that our Mother Earth is facing. And for that, we need to come together collectively, but also at the same time be individually accountable. Right? We have to watch ourselves. It is our own actions which are having the larger impact. It is nobody else's problem, but my own problem. Right? And I truly believe that you guys are the real leaders, you guys are the real champions of change. Like our colleague here was talking about, in September last year, we had 700 of our youth leaders who came together, for the last 20 years within the Satyarthi movement. We have something like 1,000 or 1,500 communities where we create elected council of young people. It's called the Bal Panchayat. wherein children themselves, democratically elect each other, and this works in tandem with the village councils, and the children themselves solve their own problems. They stand up and they say, we don't have a proper functioning school, our teachers don't show up, we don't have toilets in the school, we are not able to reach our classes, right? And then also issues to do with the environment. We don't have clean water, right? We don't have potable drinking water. Our mothers have to walk tens and, so many kilometers carrying water in our heads. This is the reality of the situation, right, that we're dealing with. So my point is that the youth and the young people are the biggest leaders. Do not think that you are inferior to anybody. You can be extremely powerful. All you have to do is truly believe in yourselves and the fact that you are doing this as your own problem, right? Great. So I just want to end by saying that I want us to take a pledge that we are going to go back today and start to practice compassion in action. We are already all compassionate leaders who are taking a stand just by being here today, and I know something about the incredible work Ash has been leading around the world. We're also proud of all of you, and we are very excited to have you join the movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Asmita. I can see why kids like you so much. Although I saw that there also, but these are all new people, new kids, but you still have that same connection. Now I would like to hand it over to Rush to take on the other speakers. Thank you.
So Dushav mentioned that kids like Asmita. Well, so do I, actually. We should. So I hope you're all ready to do something, by the way. It's true, in Europe, we don't put people first. We should put people before profit, absolutely. And, well, I'm very happy we have such inspiring people. Our next speaker is very inspiring as well. She's the wonderful Mama Shamsa from Africa. She's a Kenyan peace mediator and community mobilizer, and she nurtures young people away from violence and champions education. This is where it starts, with education and with friendship, and she does very wonderful work. So we're very happy to have her. Let's welcome her. Welcome, Mama Shamsa.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to thank my sister here beside me. And I can see you have left a legacy. It's good when a parent brings up children to take care of something which is continuous. You have brought up your family well. Most of us, when we go to these meetings, we just attend ourselves. Our children are busy doing something else. But this is something we must emulate. Secondly, Asmita dear, call her Didi. In India, you could say Didi, eh? Yes, call her Didi. She's a youth. Congratulations, whatever you're doing. The laureate and all the other members. The pleasure is mine being here. I'm from Africa. I will talk about Africa and the impact we have on climate change and why it came about. As a woman is supposed to rear, a woman is supposed to nurture. We nurture our children, we take good care of our children, we instill values. But do we talk to our children about nature? When you get married, take care of your husband. When you're at puberty stage, don't look at men. When you sit with your legs crossed. Cover your head. But do we tell our children, take care of the nature? I, as a mother, I drink a bottle of water and throw it. What will my child do? Do we instill the values of social integration and cohesion for the nature? Or do we leave it to the government? I throw the bottle of water, I pay tax. So it is the duty of the government to ensure that plastic water bottle is not there. But when nature strikes, Does it strike the government? It strikes you who threw the bottle there. We have wronged you as youths by not instilling the values of taking care of the nature. Pop, it is time to make this right. And the people who are going to make this right are sitting here in this hall. I always ask myself as a mother, why didn't I do it sooner? In my country alone, I have over 100,000 people living in ID camps. Schools have been destroyed. Police stations have been destroyed. Roads are impassable. Relief food has to be taken by helicopter and thrown through the air. But whose mistake is it? Is it you, the youth? No. It is us. And it is high time we accept our mistakes and rectify it before we destroy the world. When I talk of social integration as youths, reach out for each other. Look out for each other. As Pope, make it a duty to take care of nature. Make it your calling to take care of nature. I heard here there is the LNOB, leave no one behind. Ensure the marginalized are there. Ensure the vulnerable are there. The poverty level in the world is very high. I can tell you, it's very difficult for me to wake up with 5 kids who have no father and tell me to take care of the environment. I will be busy looking for food for my children. I need to cook that food. I don't have maybe a gas cooker. What will I do? I will turn to the forest and destroy them. Let's do advocacy on planting trees. Let's do advocacy on how to control waste management. Let's do advocacy. The sea is shrinking. When we go to the beaches, let us ensure our beaches are clean. The fish don't speak. They cry, but you cannot see their tears because the tears are watery and they live in water. They are suffocating. By destroying the sea, we are destroying the lands which are dry. Because when the levels rise, you will get attacked. This is a combined effort. The people who have and the people who have not. Let us not put the responsibility of taking care of the nation to somebody else. Just because somebody is employed, he is on a roundabout, you litter the street. He's getting paid, let him do it. I was in nursery. I remember Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Why? Because it has been instilled in me. I'm 55 years. Why do I remember it? So let's instill values of taking care of the nature so that these small youths here, when they grow up, they know it's a duty they have to do. It's like waking up in the morning and saying, "Namaste, Mama. How are you? How did you sleep?" When you meet each other, you hug. Who told you to hug one another? It's something which has been instilled in you. I was revering the teachers here today because they instill good values. But it should not be the work of the teachers. As youths, look out for youths. Look out for each other. Tell each other, it is our duty. Tell your partners, face. I'm waiting for you to do it. Face each other and tell, in loud voices, it is your duty. I can't hear anything. It is your duty. And it is my duty to take care of the environment. It is your duty. You are telling me, face Mariam. It is your duty. And it is my duty to take care of the environment. And I want you to raise your hands up. I swear, I take this pledge solemnly. Today, I will take care of the nature. It will be my responsibility. It will be my duty. May God help me. Pope! 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 Thank you and welcome.
It's a great pleasure to hear Mama Shamsa, who keeps children busy by keeping them inspired. And of course, values and the love of nature come from home, which is important because we are all the children of Mother Earth and probably of Mother Shamsa. So, our next speaker is Dr. Raghavan Seetharaman, who is a globally recognized and awarded banker and intellectual, contributing to renewable energy and the green economy. He transformed Doha Bank, and now he's transforming the world. Welcome, Dr. Raghavan.
What a joy to be an integral part of this interesting combination of intellects and the younger generation. Extraordinary set of commentaries and messages. I learned a lot. It is absolutely mind-boggling to listen to the experiences. We live in a changing world. Extraordinary set of changes and challenges are evolving. Globalization to anti-globalization, consumerism, technology is driving the whole world. We are living in an interconnected, interdependent world. As a banker, I have had the privilege of recognizing that dharma and karma are the principle-centered convergence which can ignite your mind. I hail from Tangier district, a place full of lush green. You can see it in Austrian Paris. I realized at a young age, meditation is an integral part of you. Education gave me gold medal. I was a gold medalist when I was a graduate. Meditation gave me enormous amount of insight. Instead of recognizing who I am, who am I? Passion came in. Compassion came out of meditation, recognizing the meaning of it. I also recognized our value system is, our heritage culture is not only conventional wisdom, it is extraordinary set of insight into your transformation. It gave me, fostered not only appreciation or gold medals, but it gave me golden moments. And that's what young generations you should understand. Panchabhutam, as we call it, as 5 elements: land, water, fire, sky, and the wind. That's what you are, isn't it? Your food is intake. Your water is 72% of your constitution as well. There's a synchronized growth within yourself can enhance the change. When you start loving yourself, you don't hurt others, you start loving the entire world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one fraternity. We recognize that and we start reigniting our mind towards the fraternity of human dignity and human social justice, freedom, functional democracy, and again, value systems which are transcending as one united family. That's what the compassion is all about. It is empathizing it more than sympathy, recognizing the pieces within yourself, recognizing that everything is internal, then comes external, isn't it? That's what our philosophy is all about, recognizing yourself, tattvam, realize yourself. And that's what the beauty of our character. Once you understand you are the source of change, you are the source of transformation, you are transforming, adding value as a good citizen. A good person can create a good society. A group of good society can create a good nation. A group of good nations can alone create a good united nation. Then we are going to talk about not only economics, that's what precisely when I was taking responsibility as a qualified banker, it's not economics I conceived, economics, convergence of ecology in substance, isn't it? If you understand you are part of the cosmic systems, if you understand that you have to synchronize your vision to converge as a molecule of this whole cosmic energy, then you will transcend borders, you will transcend positive energy, and you have constructive vision and execution to professional respect. When I was running the bank, I said, no, the portion of the risk-weighted capital should be allocated for investments or lending for sustainable development. Isn't it? We have a commercial objectives. We are not going to disregard. These are not charity per se. Don't misunderstand me. You don't need to throw it in charity. You take the shareholders' money and plow it for social responsibilities as well, a portion. It is not, again, it's a good commercial model as well. And that's what today the world has recognized. The global economics is in tatters now. You have seen 2008 financial crisis. The liquidity crisis moved into a funding crisis moved into a solvency and sovereign issues. And we started increasing the capital, and it was designed to, the crisis itself was designed to defeat a common man. The infectious greed has killed, the pressure has killed the whole society. Ethical and moral governance was lost. The global governance came to terms and understand that we have to redefine the framework. We recognize more so when the epidemic, COVID came in. We started getting back to the basics, recognizing not only healthcare issues, transformation in terms of human dignity is integral part of your ethics and moral governance. It's not only hygiene per se. It was caused by us, as most of us are saying it. It is only we are responsible. That's what United Nations is setting a footprint. Today, even after 4 years of the pandemic, still we have, as the president of the East Timor was mentioning, you have seen the reflection in terms of the global growth. Productivity is at stake. The global aggregate growth is not even 3%. Advanced economies are grossly underperforming to 1.5%. And emerging markets like India plus, now they are coming to terms with 4.5%. But global growth is still less than the average we expected. Trade is not moving in the right direction. There are contentious issues between two large economies, United States and China. Ethical and moral governance is compromised in terms of global substance. We are recognizing the warfare which we are seeing. I come from the Gulf states. We are 45% of the world oil, 25% of the world gas from. You see what's happening. Ukraine, there's a huge disaster. It has impacted the environment. And again, what we are seeing now, Hamas and Palestinians and Israel conflicts is again going in exponential terms. There's no end to it. There's no solutions coming into it. So what we need to do, we need to love everyone, like everyone. Every day is interesting. Every day is inspirational. Every day is motivational. That's what we need to articulate. Converge on one substance. I love myself and I love the nature. I love the human beings. You don't hate anyone. If you start loving yourself, you're going to love the whole planet. And every day is going to be motivational for you, isn't it? We are on planet lease. We are on lease. That's it. I don't have right to spoil your future. As the previous speaker has mentioned, it's our responsibility to we create a better world. Not only we create a better world, we create a better citizenship to this world. That's our duty. Look at the impact we have in terms of global productivity itself, the warfare. We have to recognize these are not ordinary issues. So how can you eliminate extreme poverty, gender equality, or even making sure food security comes in? Human dignity is lost. Food security, poverty alleviation, global warming and climate change are interconnected. We have to understand this. Rising sea level, increasing temperature, animal extinction, these are not ordinary issues. You have to use this technology with the changing face of the world. Your future is at stake. Nearly 2 billion in the whole proportion of 7 billion is you. Your future is more important than us. It means use this technology to your advantage. Social justice has to prevail. Freedom has to come in. Functional democracy has to speak your mind. And you have to necessarily make sure right causes you spend your time. That's limited in the space. And you have to necessarily recognize, that's why pop movement is more important. That's why we recognize this movement can be a whole planet if it comes to recognize that this is the most important issues, nothing else. Nothing is more important than this issue. How can you bring in peace and prosperity? Peace is within yourself, as I said earlier. You cannot integrate the global prosperity and make sure every common good is delivering the purpose for the living unless you understand the environment, nature, Mother Nature. Suryascha mamanyascha mannipatayascha manyakritebhya. That's what Sanskrit says. Veda, what it says. The sun, the minute you get up, you are a newborn, right? Every day you're dying. You have a limited space. Everything is time-bound, actionable, temporary. Nothing is permanent. You're waking up and you recognize the opportunity. I am alive. Now I have to add value. That's what the whole passage is all about. The time is limited and you have to recognize the values and the sequence of these values to propagate culture which is completely environment friendly. And not only you can have all sort of sustainable development. Millennium Development Goal has been changed into sustainable development. Sustainability will not come. You cannot bring in global prosperity without environment sustainability. It is the social sustainability. It is a human sustainability. It is the economic sustainability, as I said, economic sustainability and the environment sustainability. All have to converge in propagating the value systems so that your future and your future generation is well off. And that's what the purpose of the session I thought I should put you as a preface. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind attention.
Wonderful and inspiring. What I got from that is that even in business and finance, we must take care of our karma, and that we're all the source of change. So each one of you has the power to change the future. Isn't that wonderful? Now, next up, we have someone, finally, whose name I can easily pronounce, Dr. Ruth Mitchell, who is a pediatric and adult neurosurgeon, Nobel Prize winner in 1985, a passionate medical educator from Sydney, Australia, an international speaker on peace, development, equality, and the anti-nuclear movement. She's who I want to be when I grow up. Welcome, Dr. Ruth.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here with all of you. I get very excited when I find out that there's going to be young people around. Most of my clinical work is as a pediatric neurosurgeon. But I promise you, I've left my scalpel at home. It's safe to talk to me. I won't do any operations on you, okay? Now, I just wanted to test something we were practicing before. Pop. Pop. Excellent. I just wanted to make sure you're still with me. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about myself, about the International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War, which is an organization that I'm the first woman to chair the board of. And about my journey to figure out what is my unique contribution to protect our planet. And then I want to talk about you and what you can do. So when I started my journey as a medical student, I looked around me and I found a classroom full of people who were thinking about their future wealth and prestige. And I just wasn't sure that those were my kindred, that those were really my family on this journey. And I looked around for inspiration. And I was so fortunate to find some senior mentors who were doctors who'd been working to get rid of nuclear weapons for many years at that point. So I became aware of this network, this international connection, this community this family of doctors and medical students who cared so much about our planet that they didn't want it to be destroyed by the 12,500 nuclear weapons we have here in the world. And so they started to understand that these devastating weapons of mass destruction were actually a public health issue. And one of the things I have so enjoyed getting to know the POP movement is this understanding that all of these climate issues are health issues, and we can look at all of this through a public health lens. So as I went through medical school, I realized that there was a lot of frustration amongst my colleagues and my new friends who were trying to change the world and really didn't feel they were getting much traction. And I wonder if you've had that same feeling yourself, where you're trying to get something done and you just don't seem to be able to shift the dial. And so while I cannot personally take credit for the Nobel that was won by IPPNW in 1985, that was long before my medical career began, I can assure you, I feel somewhat responsible for what came next, which is that we started a campaign, we started it in Australia, in Melbourne, called the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. We launched that in 2007 in Melbourne and then in Vienna, and over the next 10 years built a coalition of civil society partners and countries who are willing to take the next step, who wanted to bring into international law something that could protect our planet. And in 2017 we got that, a treaty that prohibits nuclear weapons. The Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, the Nuclear Ban Treaty. And that was a prize enough for all of us. But later that year, we got the news that as a campaign, we were being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2017. And I tell you that because I want you to understand that I was once a student wondering how I would make a difference. And I think this can be you too. I want you to understand that if you find the issue that, drives you the craziest, that moves you the most deeply, then you will find the ways where you can make your best contribution to making a difference. You'll find the people that you can work with. You'll find a community of people who care about the issues that you care about. You will find mentors who can guide you on your path. And you will learn how is it that I can speak up? And I have seen so much evidence from this wonderful movement already of young people speaking up with confidence, with grace, with determination. I've met, even before the session this morning, a number of young people who, on the other side of their smiles, I could see fierce determination, a fire for change. I want to encourage each and every one of you that you can be a massive change in this world. You can drive a really significant movement in this world that will make our planet safe for years and years to come, and not just for the humans, but for all of life. I want to thank you all for everything that you're already doing. I see so much energy, so much commitment. I see the eagerness in your eyes, I see how much attention you're paying, and I want to thank you for being truly present. It's been mentioned already that many of the issues we face, are justice issues. And I'm so grateful to you for really framing our climate crisis as a climate justice issue. And so too with nuclear weapons. We know that when nuclear weapons have been used, they have devastated communities. Where they have been tested, they've been tested predominantly on the lands of indigenous people, and they have had devastating health consequences. There is a nuclear racism that goes with this regime that is seen the world over. We know that if nuclear weapons are used, they will be devastating for our entire planet, not just humans. Recent modeling has shown that if only 3% of the world's nuclear weapons were used in what is sometimes described as a limited regional nuclear war between the beautiful countries of India and Pakistan, that we would see 1/3 of the population of the world die by starvation within 2 years. As with climate change, you best believe that the climate crisis precipitated, the nuclear winter precipitated by that kind of event would hit the most vulnerable and the least wealthy the hardest. So I want to invite you to partner with me, with us, as you find your own voice, and as you raise your voice, even if your voice shakes. I want to encourage you that there is no limit to what you can do for good in this world. And I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes, which is from an Aboriginal woman from Queensland in Australia, Lila Watson. And she said, "If you have come to me to help me, then you're wasting your time. But if you've come to work with me, then let us work together." I want you to know that just as the issues of the climate crisis and nuclear weapons are tied up, so are the solutions. The reality is that we need each other. We need to strive for peace and justice, not just peace and quiet. And that my liberation is bound up with yours. We get free together. Thank you.
Wonderful and inspiring. It looks like we have a lot of problems in the world, but if we work together, we can solve them all, I'm sure of it. Now we have a video message from His Excellency Judge Mohamed Abdelsalam, Secretary General of the Higher Committee of Human Fraternity and Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Elders. Let's get that.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تحياتي لحضراتكم جميعا وأهنئكم بهذا الحدث المهم الذي تنظمه مؤسسة بوب موفمنت من أجل الأخوة الإنسانية، من أجل تعزيز حركة مواجهة أخطار البشرية وخاصة التغير المناخي. ربط هذا التحدي الإنساني الخطير وهو تغير المناخ بأهمية الأخوة الإنسانية في عالم اليوم هو موضوع مهم للغاية. فأنا أشكركم على تنظيم هذا الحدث المهم الذي يجمع نخبة من العاملين والمتميزين وصناع الأمل في عالمنا. الأخوة الإنسانية هي الترياق الحقيقي لكل المشاكل التي تواجهها البشرية اليوم. لذا فاسمحوا لي بصفتي الأمين العام لمجلس حكماء المسلمين أن أقدم كل الدعم لهذا العمل المهم ولهذا النشاط المؤثر الذي نحن بحاجة إليه، ولإشراك الشباب في هذه المنظومة العالمية وهذه الحركة الإنسانية من أجل تعزيز الأخوة الإنسانية في عالمنا. أن يجتمع الناس والقادة والمؤثرين سواء داخل الأمة الهندية أو من أماكن مختلفة من العالم لإرسال رسالة أمل في وقت صعب تعاني فيه البشرية من تحديات وحروب وصراعات. شيء يستحق الإشادة ويستحق التقدير، ونحن معكم ونساندكم وندعمكم وندعم كل الجهود التي تبذل حول العالم من أجل تحقيق هذا الفردوس المأمول. لن أقول الفردوس المفقود، ولكن هذا الفردوس المأمول من أجل عالم أفضل ومن أجل غد أفضل لنا وللأجيال القادمة ولكم وللجميع في هذه الأسرة البشرية الواحدة. مجلس حكماء المسلمين مهتم كثيرا بمواجهة تغير المناخ، وقدم لأول مرة مبادرة إنسانية عالمية شارك فيها قادة الأديان المختلفة، وهي نداء الضمير وأيضا جناح الأديان في كوب 28 الذي مثل نقطة مهمة لإشراك صوت الدين في مواجهة أكبر تهديد يواجه البشرية في العصر الحديث وهو تغير المناخ. نحن معا كما نقول دائما لا يمكن لفريق واحد أو لمنظمة واحدة أو لمؤسسة واحدة أن تقدم نتائج قوية من أجل الأخوة الإنسانية، ولكن نحن معا بتضامن وتعايش وحب يمكننا أن نقدم الكثير من أجل إنسانيتنا. شكرا لكم جزيلا على هذا الحدث المهم والاستثنائي والذي يأتي في ليلة اليوم الدولي للأخوة الإنسانية، هذا اليوم الذي أقرته الجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة للاحتفاء وللتقدير ولإعلان الأهمية البالغة لهذه الوثيقة الإنسانية التاريخية التي قدمها البابا فرانسيس والإمام الأكبر الشيخ أحمد الطيب شيخ الأزهر الشريف إلى العالم في لحظة مهمة توالت بعدها أزمات إنسانية، ولكن نحن اليوم بحاجة إلى تعزيز هذه القيم وبحاجة إلى التضامن الإنساني. فشكرا لكم مرة ثالثة على هذا العمل المهم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا.
Wonderful and inspiring as always. It is now my pleasure to turn our gaze to the worlds of art and science, as we are privileged to have our next speaker, the Secretary General of the World Academy of Art and Science, Janani Ramanathan. Welcome.
Good morning. Nice to see so many young faces. You know, you're the most important group here. So I come from the World Academy of Art and Science. Human Security for All is the name of a campaign that the Academy is conducting. We're doing this in partnership with the United Nations, with the pop movement, with a number of different organizations, educational, scientific, religious, and a lot of groups, NGOs, business leaders, parliamentarians. But I believe, as I just said, and as all our esteemed speakers just told you, you students, youngsters, youth, you are the most important group, because if anybody can create real change, it is you. I know we're putting a lot of responsibility on you, but it's also because we believe that you have the capacity, you can do it, and there is full trust in you. The message that the Human Security for All, HS4A campaign as we call it, gives to all of these groups is, we need human security for all. That's rather obvious, isn't it? Of course, we all need to feel and to be secure. But when we when you hear the word security, what invariably comes to mind is the idea of the army with weapons securing our borders. Security has become synonymous with national security, military security. But the United Nations has defined 8 pillars of human security. There are 8 different ways in which you have to be secure till we can say, oh, okay, we have complete human security. Economic security, food, health, environmental, personal, community, political, and now just a few months back, the UN has added a new pillar of security. Can anybody guess what this new one is? We've talked about health and environment and food and economy. What else do we need absolutely to be more secure? Yes? Climate change, it comes under environmental security. So the UN put it under that. Anybody else? Yes? Social security, any other guess? I think there was a hand raised, yes? Aditya. Economic security is one. Oh yes, one more, right? Pardon? Equality, yes, that definitely is something that we need. Maybe they just put it under personal, community and political and economic. In September 23, the UN added technological security, what with AI doing so much that it is doing, and we still don't even know what else it can do. So all of these 8 pillars of human security are there, and only if we can provide all of these different pillars of security can we say that we have given human security. And only if we have human security for all do we have hope for our collective future. So what exactly is this human security? What do we do? Basically, it is to put the human being in the center of development of all types, even technological development. What's the use of technology for technology's sake if they create more and more powerful devices that impact our mental health, even our physical health? So any innovation is of any use only if it empowers individuals, if it solves our problems, if it makes the world better. And this is true for everything. All our education, our research, all our economic advancement, all of this has to make us more secure. So how do we do this? How do we actualize this ideal? A lot of changes. One is a change in the way we think about security. And this will result automatically in the way we understand, the way we act, the way our values, our attitudes even. And the change that we need is to stop thinking about security as mere military power and understand it as a more comprehensive idea of human well-being and measure everything, have human security as the universal benchmark for all our development strategies. Another change that we need is in the way we think about global security. At the moment, it's a very exclusive concept. If one country is secure, somehow it makes the other country less secure. If one group or one coalition enjoys security, it somehow seems to come at the cost of the security of everything else that is outside of that group, as if security is possible only in one place at a time. This is an idea that we really have to change completely, reverse, and understand that human security for anybody is possible only if it is available to all, everywhere. And security in all of its aspects. Imagine that you have food security but not health security. What's the point in being able to see all the tasty food if the doctor has said no oil, no spice, nothing at all, only some boiled vegetables? What's the point in having economic security? You can do what you want, you have all the, say, purchasing power, but the environment is such that you cannot step out of the house. So we need all of these 8 different aspects of security in order to be completely, fully secure. And so what is it that we can do? What is it that every one of you can do? What is it that we can do collectively? There is a lot that we all together can do. Human security, it's so important because it is the equivalent of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals from the perspective of people, of communities. And we have a lot of what it takes already. Like, for example, what India did, we implemented financial inclusion using technology. You all probably, maybe not the very young students here, but your parents, you must have all seen all the apps with which we pay. This financial inclusion that has brought a lot of millions of people into our economic growth. We didn't just stop with that. We went to the United Nations and we shared it with the world. We made it, you could say, open source. We said, anybody in any country can use it. This is generosity. So this is just the exact opposite of saying, I want it for myself, I'm not sharing it with anybody. This is something that all of us can do at a personal level, what we did at the national level. Financial inclusion, we are told that by extensive research, it can be an enabler for 7 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Technology, if shared, that is the catch here, if it is shared, it can reduce the gap in the funding of all our 17 Sustainable Development Goals by up to 40%. So, all that we need, the resources, the know-how, in order to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, in order to provide human security for all, is already there. So what is needed is that human will, the determination, the aspiration to do something. There is a line by Sri Aurobindo in his poem Savitri. One man's perfection still can save the world. So one person, one organization, one group that has this, perfection, the determination, the aspiration, it still can save. In fact, if you look at a lot of the positive social movements in our human history, it has always been powered by human aspiration. Maybe some technological development, maybe the invention of the steam engine or whatever may have, or the internet may have been, the catalyst. But the underlying reason, the basis has always been human determination. And so I thank Dr. Ash Pachauri, the entire pop movement, and for bringing such a group of us together, because I believe that if we have that aspiration, we can do miracles, and I welcome all of you. I know you've already taken the oath. I just want you to go forward and, implement it. So we have a better future, you will be also able to leave for the next generation something much better than you have inherited. Thank you.
Wonderful speech. With people like her, we'll definitely have a better future of human security. So for our next speaker, we have another amazing and successful person, a great politician and humanitarian, an inspiring leader and intellectual. It is my pleasure to present the former president of Ecuador and president of Fundación Fidal, Her Excellency Dr. Rosalia Arteaga Serrano.
Good morning. In my country, in Ecuador, it's midnight, right? And well, I just arrived yesterday, and I want to present my greetings and congratulations to organize all this big event to Ash Pachauri and Pachauri family. And I want also to congratulate some other people that are behind, and they are trying to get all of you here, all of us here, like Norma. I was very happy when I received the invitation to participate today in this big event, because I was remembering what happened in 2019 when we all met in Durango in Mexico, and we pay our respects to the late Dr. Rahendra Pachauri, and I was also remembering his achievements and the projection that he has talking about climate change and things that nowadays all of us we are aware of, but at that time we weren't aware of what was happening with the planet until the intergovernmental panel of experts tell us what was happening with the climate in all the world. And now that we are talking in the Day of Compassion, I was thinking that maybe you, especially young kids, young personalities that are growing to think about how important is protect our planet, I was thinking that we must put together compassion and passion, because without passion we cannot act, we cannot do what we want, we cannot really impact in the world, because with passion we can be really acting to protect our planet, like is the big goal of the pop movement, to protect our planet. And the other thing that I was thinking is, well, I am coming from really far from here. I'm from Latin America, from a country called Ecuador. I have to travel 2 days to arrive here. But I was thinking what we have in common, and we have a lot in common. The big thinking about the environment, and to think about what's happening in India and what's happening in the other side of the world, in the Amazon jungle, when we have the consequences of the not good behaviors on protecting the planet. Because nowadays in the Amazon jungle, for example, we had a lot of problems with droughts. We have a very dry season there, and we are not feeling that we can protect all this part, very important part of the world like the Amazon. But in other hands, we have other parts of the world with big floods, with big amount of water. In the other hand, we have people starving because they cannot plant, they cannot harvest, they cannot fish because the rivers are gone. That's what's happening nowadays. And the big efforts has to be dedicated, of course, to protect our planet, but of course to educate ourselves in how to protect it. Maman and the other speakers here talk about it, how we can act to protect our planet, how we can act to protect the biodiversity, to protect the plants, to protect the species, to protect the rivers, to protect the beach, to protect everything in our world. And it's not an easy task. Then we have to learn how to do it, and it's through education that we can have good results to protect our planet. Then I put together education in one hand and protection of the planet in one hand, compassion in one hand and passion in the other hand, because we have to act together to have and to achieve these goals of protection of the planet. But of course, we must think that nowadays, when we are talking a lot about robotic, internet, artificial intelligence, that you are aware about that. India is a big country in projecting technology and science. Then we have to think that science and technology had to be big tools to protect our planet. Science and technology, because they are tools and they can be used for bad things, like we hear about nuclear weapons and the nuclear power, that could be for good and for bad. In anything that you can think, you can be aware, you must be aware that science and technology can be used for good or for bad. You have internet that can be used for good or for bad. You have robotic for good or for bad. Intelligence, artificial intelligence for good or for bad. Then to use these tools that nowadays we have with the science and with the technology is in our hands, especially in your hands. Now you are learning. Most of you, probably you are students. Are you students? Raise your hand, the students here. Yeah, most of you. Maybe I am a student too, because I am trying to learn in French by Duolingo, for example. Then I'm a student too. But you are studying, you are preparing to be the citizens of the world that you must be. Then you have in your hands the tools to make it good or make it bad, to make you in a miserable way, to do it in a blessed way, to use all the intelligence, all the science, all the innovation that are in your hands now. Then it's very important to be prepared for this world and the world of the future, because the world of the future is with a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what will happen with lots of things that we have today. But you can transform, you can make it different, you can make it better if you are now prepared for this new world, for this new era. When I remember that we were preparing to receive the 2000 year, the 21st century, we were not very comfortable about what was going to happen. Nowadays, when we have more than 20 years of this new century, we continue in the same way, because we get not very well prepared, probably my generation, but you are very aware about what's happening now, what we can do for the future. Then I feel that pop movement is a good tool, Ash. It's a very good tool, because you are thinking in the young people, you are thinking in the new generation, you are thinking in the new tools that you create for this young generation and for the future generation. Don't be tired, never. Feel that you are doing the proper things in a good way. Like I was feeling when I was seated there, when I was a young woman and I was thinking to dedicate to politics, I didn't have a lot of role models because women and that period of time, we were not aware about our potential in politics. But I saw, and I was thinking at that time, in women like Indira Gandhi from India, an Indian woman, or very few women, maybe less than the fingers of my hands, that can be role models for a teenager at that time like I was, but an Indian woman was a role model. And I believe strongly in the powerful also of women, what we can do to contribute to a better world, what we can feel, how we can behave, and how we can teach to the other people. And that's my message. You have to act with compassion and passion. We have to prepare yourselves, and you have to act very confident about the future. Good luck to all of you. Namaste. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, I can see why Her Excellency was elected. She has my vote. It's inspiring to have such role models, such as these wonderful women here. Great pleasure. So at the end of this session, we will now have an award being given out to our very own Mama Shamsa by Dr. Raghavan. So please, well, are you prepared? Yes. So Dr. Raghavan will give an award to Mama Shamsa for her great work and contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, this will conclude our first session. We hope that you were inspired by our wonderful role models, wonderful, passionate people. We will now invite you for a tea, and well, thank you for joining and listening.